finished, Denmark won, England won in Frankfurt. You can see the Denmark players in a huddle there. They'll probably be the happier of the two sides with that result. They were the team that looked like they could have gone on to get the winner. But Terry, as for England, how many times have we seen a performance like that?
Millions of times. Millions of times. I mean, when's it ever going to change, though? I mean, he takes his front three off and he puts a new set of front three on. But like, we're talking, you know, and I don't see anybody this day and age willing to run beyond. You know, Foden, all right then, Saka, they want to come short for the ball all the time, and Harry Kane's coming for a shot, he never spins out anymore. You know, fair dues to Denmark because they stuck at it, didn't they, really? And they wasn't afraid. They attacked England in all departments, and you know, you can't. I mean, I don't even know where to start with England sometimes because listen, they got a point. They got a point. It's frustrating, but sometimes I think to myself, why don't they just be expansive and lovely on the eye to watch and get hold of the ball and take players on? And I just don't see it every now and again.
Patrice, frustration all around. I mean, you predicted a draw and you were right. You saw this coming, didn't you?
Yeah, but déjà vu. I don't think I can add more than Terry, and those players don't want to run behind. I mean, when Watkins come on, that's what he did. That's why Jude gave him a great pass. But like I say, I just feel like England create their own problem. I will stay positive because I remember in 2016 when we reached the final in the group stage, we were really bad. So maybe in the knockout they will be like better. I don't know. That's the positive note. But why you are so conservative? Why you are so safe when you got all those talent? Normally we should watch England and feeling the joy, and we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it did start off very well for England, despite not playing that well. It was their captain Harry Kane who got the goal mark, and it sort of came out of nowhere, but it was probably more down to this defending from Christiansen that's allowed Kyle Walker.
Yeah, it was shocking defending, wasn't it? And to be fair, they got a little bit of luck. 2 deflections, and obviously Harry Kane's in there. And you're thinking now, go on and get the second, go on and get the third. My worry about England tonight is they looked leggy. They looked sluggish, as if like the season had taken it out of them, and that's going to be the worry. The positive thing for me, from a Southgate point of view, is that he made the changes eventually that everyone was wanting. He took Kane off, who's his captain, which is a big thing for him. It never actually worked, but they still got they still got the result. They still got the result, but it didn't work.
It didn't work, but he did make those decisions.
That's why we have him on the show.
No filter, honestly.
That was brilliant. But to be fair, Denmark got back into the game, didn't they? Morten Hjulmand, his first international goal. And it was a pretty good one, Terry. Long range. We did question Pickford, didn't we?
Yeah.
But really, could he have done much about it?
No, it's the midfield. We've got to close the ball down, haven't you? We see it week in and week out. But, at this level, you've got to throw your body on the line. We've seen it. Albania was throwing the body on the line in that game. And I just didn't see the midfield just go and close the ball down, They didn't really do that, did they? But it's a great strike. Yeah. I mean, Pickford, we were talking in the room before, and he took a couple of bounce steps back instead of moving back, or just staying forward maybe and narrowing that angle. Yeah. Didn't do that.
Yeah, he didn't do it, but not Kasper Hjulmand, because that's the manager. Morten Hjulmand is our change maker of the day with his wonderful strike, as I mentioned, his first international goal for his country.
Hjulmand. Oh, brilliant! It's his first ever goal for Denmark. I don't think he'll score many better. Pickford beaten by a beauty. And under the watchful eye of King Frederick of Denmark, a goal of...
That was our change maker of the match. Now it finished Denmark 1, England 1. In the second half, when the changes were made, we did see Jude Bellingham get on the ball. We saw Jude Bellingham driving. We saw Jude Bellingham play a nice ball into Watkins.
What was he driving?
But he was getting the ball. He was doing things that we hadn't seen from him in the first half, wasn't he?
Yeah, but they have to, don't they? They have to put the ownership on themselves and make things happen. And this is what happens, you know, when you concede a goal, it wakes you up kind of thing, and you go, oh, I'm in a game here, we better start doing the things we was probably told to do on the training park and that. And look, I mean, it took him 5 hours to pass that ball sideways.
How lovely was that ball?
This is what we're on about. This is what we're talking about. Runners in behind, in them little tight areas, defenders don't like that.
Patrice, we didn't see that from Harry Kane really at all during that first half. Were you surprised that Gareth Southgate took him off or not?
No. I think I was surprised he get the courage to take out your captain. I think is a massive statement. But I didn't see Harry Kane doing this move because this is not his game. Everyone come to the ball and he's not that fast enough. And of course, yeah, sometimes we see Harry Kane maybe a little bit. But you see the difference when you have Watkins. But even the players on the pitch, they know his teammate. We got Watkins, so we can play long ball behind the defenders, something we hate the most.
I mean, like Mark said, he did make the changes, Southgate, but they didn't work, did they? But it was big for Southgate to get into that position and make those changes. Yeah. One of the decisions he went with at the start of the tournament was Mark Gay to partner John Stones in central defence, Mark. And he had a little bit of a heart-in-mouth moment. But how well did he recover from this?
I think he's done great in both games. I mean, this was probably a bad pass from Declan Rice rather than a mistake by him. But, you know, he's got himself back into position and got the tackle in. So I think he's been one of the pluses for England. Again, we're criticising England. They've won one and drawn one. You know, we'll talk about, you know, showing how we can play and whatnot. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. Terry's right. If you get over the line and get through to the round of 16, however way you do it, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure England will definitely want to top the group. And obviously they've still got that game against Slovenia. If, of course, they win that, they will definitely go through and top the group. Well, I said earlier, there was only really one team that looked like they were going to win it, and Denmark actually had a couple of really big chances towards the end of that game, Patrice. This one falling to Andreas Christensen, perhaps not the person you'd want this to fall to in the box.
Well, I mean, he plays sometimes midfield for Barcelona. Maybe it's the bounce, just the bounce, and maybe he was surprised, and also the defender pulled him back. But actually, I'm quite happy. Finally, I see something about Denmark, because I always say it's a strong team since the last Euros. Then after in the World Cup, they had a bad tournament, and they were going to that direction to keep being bad. So finally, you know, they show something. And it was against, I don't know if I say a big team, England, but they show something against England.
They must have seen something, Denmark, and says, look, we can worry England there. You know, let's just get out. And that's what they did, to be fair.
Listen, a lot of the players in the Denmark team are playing at the highest level.
Yeah,
let's not think that they're not in the top leagues. And as Terry said at the end of the game, he said there's no easy games now in international football, and least of all in the Euros.
Now, we spoke about Trent Alexander-Arnold in the build-up to this game. We spoke about him in the build-up to the game against Serbia as well. He came off after 53 minutes for Conor Gallagher. Terry, what did you make of his performance?
I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't blame the lad.
Yeah.
I blame the manager for putting him in an area where he's not used to playing. And international football, it's completely different from club football.
And you say you don't blame the manager. I'm 100% sure.
No, don't blame Trent.
Don't blame the player.
You don't blame Trent. I will blame Trent.
Why?
Because I'm convinced he has the manager to play this position.
Really?
I'm convinced because he knows he can't defend. And to stay on the team, but now he plays as a midfielder.
It's up to the manager.
It's not Southgate.
It's up to the manager.
No Southgate. No chance.
Listen, they're toying with him, aren't they? Can he play in there? Can he not play in there?
But surely, no Patrice, surely Gareth Southgate doesn't just put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield at a major tournament because he's good at passing. Surely, because that's the reason he's playing there, because of the way he can switch play and
But that's the only. I think he's the only person saying Trent Alexander can play midfield.
Don't play him then. Don't play him then. Put a midfield player in there, a proper midfield player in there who can dictate the game, get forward, put crosses in, put passes in.
You're not doing this. You can even create tension in the group. I'll be honest with you. If I'm a defensive midfield, then I saw a right back taking my position. I promise you, every training I'm gonna tackle him. I'm gonna get injury to show the manager what he's doing. I don't agree with it.
Mark, do you think we see Trent against Slovenia in midfield?
No.
I'd like to think not. I think he's got to change the way he plays as well. I don't think they need two holding midfielders anymore.
You have Kobe Mayo.
You've got Declan Rice in there. And let's be more expansive going forward. Let's get a winger in there, or whatever system he's going to play. But the way it is now, it's not working.
Yeah.
I mean, the lad's come off, hasn't he? He's come off for 50 odd minutes. He's just come off after half time. How was he feeling coming off? And he hasn't had a great game. Yeah. So sometimes you've got to look at the manager and go, hang on a minute, this is not for me. Yeah. This is really not for me. And maybe he sits him down.
I'm sure. I'm sorry to I disagree. I'm sure Trent wants to play that position.
He might do, but surely he doesn't have that much power.
So does Trent pick himself like to play in that position?
Who knows?
That's what I've got to ask.
It's going to be interesting to see if Trent plays in midfield in the next game for England. Now, obviously, Bowen came on, Eze came on, Gallagher came on, Ollie Watkins came on. What does Cole Palmer have to do? Only Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, more goals and assists.
They've only got 5 subs or 6 subs.
Europe's top 5 leagues. What has Cole Palmer got to do to get minutes in this Euros?
Well, obviously he's doing something wrong, isn't he? He's maybe not training hard enough. Obviously the manager sees something in the other players, maybe not to play him. Maybe he's saving him for later on in the. Maybe he's saving him for later on in the tournament.
I don't know.
You don't know. Do you think Cole Palmer should have got some minutes by now?
I'm not the manager. I don't know if he will make the difference because, like I say, playing with your club is different to play with your national team. But of course, what he showed with his season with Chelsea, he should get like more minutes. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he left, he stayed at Chelsea. Maybe he's still at Chelsea. He didn't get in the plane. I don't know.
Right, well, England are still on top of Group C. We can have a look at the standings now. Of course, 2 draws today. Slovenia and Serbia. Serbia getting the equaliser in the last second. And England, of course, they're drawing with Denmark. England's still in pretty good position going into the last day. You would expect them to top the group from here. Right, it is Spain against Italy coming next.
Thoughts about Manchester United and Everton? The erstwhile great Manchester United are still seesawing. A draw with Spurs on the 14th of January saw them win 5 straight games, albeit most of them just barely. Then came the awful loss to Fulham on the 24th of February, in which they played a lacklustre game. Then came Sunday's derby, where they lose 1-3 to the current league champions Manchester City, a game where they go a goal ahead, defend brilliantly for 50 minutes, eventually capitulating to the obviously better class of their rival. Regarding the manager Erik ten Hag, there are still many complaints from pundits left and right. The lack of clear sense of direction or style of play, lack or poor quality of man management, and constant poor recruitment of players. Since the 25% takeover of Man United by Jim Ratcliffe, it was hoped that Man United will progress to a more successful direction under his watch. Some pundits even think that Ten Hag might even be replaced come next season. Yet the stats show that he did not do too badly. He managed 61 wins in all competitions in his first 100 games, which actually is better record than either Mikel Arteta with 54 and Jurgen Klopp with 50.
Thoughts on Arsenal and Tottenham? If not for that 1-week blip where they lost to Aston Villa and bow out of the Champions League, Arsenal have been by far the most impressive team this season. They have the best defensive record. They blow teams away by huge margin of goals, which leave them with the top goal difference, worth a point at least. Even after that week of disappointment, they are now pretty much faultless. It is not their choice, however. They have to be, because reigning champions Manchester City have games in hand, which if they win all the remaining games, there is nothing Arsenal can do about it. They will be crowned champions for the 4th consecutive time. But the way Arsenal played this season, it will be a shame if they did not win the Premier League.